Welcome back. My name is Alex Belton. I talk real estate. Today, we're going to talk about Grant Cardone, the real estate guy that everybody loves to hate. And to be completely clear, I don't hate Grant Cardone. He's clearly a great marketer. He's introduced a lot of people into the world of real estate investing, which I personally think is a great thing. And his book, well, very generic and frankly cheesy, has a lot of great information to glean from. Like, create your own reality. I believe that's called schizophrenia. At the end of the day, he is clearly a positive dude and is a true believer in what he teaches. I can't hate on that. However, I will criticize it in good faith. My biggest complaint with Grant Cardone is the fact that he is trying to sell, frankly, unsophisticated retail investors on buying the biggest properties possible. Skip that whole learning thing and go straight to the 100+ unit properties, which is asinine on its face. Oh yeah, and he also happens to sell you the solution by investing into Cardone Capital. Here's Grant trying to pitch Robert Kiyosaki, the writer of Rich Dad Poor Dad, on this grand idea.
Well, I was actually, my question to Grant was, how did you get started? Because you started with nothing as we did. How did you get started? How did you get into that whole real estate game?
Yeah, I got started with one unit. Like the same way, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody. I'm telling your audience they're better off partnering with somebody on a big deal than going one unit by yourself. Because the problem with one unit is when they move out, as you know, you're 100% vacant. And all of a sudden real estate starts to hit some new reality.
So you would start with 500 units at a shot first deal?
I started with one unit.
No, but are you recommending they partner with somebody on a 500 unit deal?
I would at 1,000%.
Wow. I wouldn't do that.
Clearly, Robert's not having it either. He clearly has the same pushback that I had when I heard him say this. And he calls him out on it multiple times.
And I'd be upfront about it. Grant recommends you just start at 200 units with a partner. I don't recommend that. I mean, you can invest with him and do that, but I would personally not do that.
Okay, look, there's a lot to unpack here. And to be fair, he is pointing out a legitimate problem. And the solution to his problem, while technically correct, is very self-serving. This is the equivalent of you going to your doctor, telling him that you have a headache, and he immediately rolls you into the surgery table and preps you for brain surgery to solve your headache problem. Oh, and it just so happens that the doctor is also the brain surgeon. And look, never take medical advice from me. I am no doctor. But logic dictates that first you start off with the less intrusive things first, right? Unfortunately, today a lot of financial advice is really just a sales pitch. And look, I get it, every entrepreneur has their sales pitch, and slowly but surely you start to craft it and mold it into something that's a lot more concise that works for the vast majority of people. Think back to your first sales pitch. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The problem is Grant hasn't stopped doing his financial advice sales, but whatever the hell it is. And when he did his Undercover Billionaire Show, he clearly proved himself wrong. And it's very entertaining to watch. Now you have to keep in mind that this is a TV show. How much of it is real? How much of it is fake? Who the hell knows? All I know is that there are producers working behind the scenes, and anytime there are producers working behind the scenes, let's just say they do a lot of things strictly for storyline, not for honesty. All I do know is that Grant proved himself wrong. Let's watch.
I'm on my way to a meeting with potential investors for my apartment deal. They are who I was when I was 25. And if I could get them in that deal and they could own a piece of real estate, not only will I build $1 million business, but I know in my heart of heart, I changed their life forever. I built a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire. And I'm used to pitching rooms with as many as 34,000 people in it.
What a way to unnecessarily flex. I'm used to pitching a stadium full of people.
If I can get each person in the room to do 20,000, that apartment building is ours. I invest in real estate and I need investors. I found a deal here at Konakaya. How many of you know Konakaya? Konakaya is 151 units. This is one of 24 buildings in this town that have 100 units or more. Bigger the better. I say go big or go home. Or go bigger. Number one, the market timing is perfect right now. Pueblo's on fire. It's going to continue to heat up here. You guys hear it at every barbecue that you go to. The Konakaya deal is $10 million. I'm going to buy that deal with $2 million. We will use the rent from 151 units to pay down the mortgage and the interest. We would make $200,000 a year for 30 years. That'd be $6 million. That's how you work a room, ladies and gentlemen. Every potential investor here should feel like they're going to miss out if they don't write me a check.
I get it. Everyone wants to be rich and worry-free like yesterday, but the truth is, any form of investing, it's going to be a grind. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, stocks, gold, watch, baseball, whatever it is, it's going to be a grind. At some point, you are going to fail and you're gonna learn from your failure. Enjoy the process, baby. Read books, gain experience, create your own network. Know when you found a good deal and know when someone is bullshitting you. The problem here is the fact that, and really no offense to these guys, they were probably put into an awkward situation and they put cameras in their face, but quite simply, they don't know what they're looking at. While Grant Cardone is trying to sell them a la Wolf of Wall Street, I am positive that they are thinking to themselves, this deal looks too good to be true, and if something looks too good to be true, well, I'll let you finish that sentence. And I'm sure that Grant's response to this would be something along the lines of like, well, we need to break that way of thinking. You know, at least that's what his bullshit book says. Let's look at rule number 19. Break traditional ideas. Yeah, Grant, let's deprogram the entire human race of this historical good advice so that you can get your sales pitch across. Brilliant.
Any other questions?
I'm curious about like the layout of this investment. Like for you, so you would be considered the owner, the sole owner, and we're investors towards it?
We would set up a structure that everybody's satisfied with.
All right, so there's a lot being said in this entire scene, but ultimately what I'm getting, and this is once again no offense to these guys that are sitting there, they're asking like beyond beginner questions. They don't even know what's going on. What Grant is trying to get them to do is join a joint venture. These guys don't even know what to call it. They're in their minds, they can't figure out how they're gonna, you know, cut this into different pieces. And the thing about a joint venture is that you want to make sure that you set it up correctly. So dot your I's, cross your T's. The very first time you do this, it's a very tedious process. This isn't something that's done like in minutes. You know, I mean, once you get used to it, obviously you do it in minutes, but the very first time you're gonna have to have your hand held by the attorneys. And the thing about the first time that you do sort of a joint venture and you set up your corporate structure and whatever the case may be, your attorney and your accountant should be the ones helping you set this up, but it's most likely some type of corporate structure. You wanna make sure that you dot your I's, cross your T's, because it's very easy to screw this up if not done correctly. And I understand these guys, if they're freaking out thinking like, what if I get kicked out of this deal and I'm out XYZ amount of money? And, you know, especially at their level, it is a very legitimate concern. The next thing about this is the fact that, let's just say these guys have $1,000 to invest. They don't really have $1,000 to invest. They have whatever is left over after attorney and accountant fees, or, you know, however they set themselves up. But it's not the full $1,000. Once again, this is just a roundabout number. If, you know, whatever it is, 10,000, whatever.
Who's interested enough to put some money in this deal?
I'm interested enough to get more information.
I don't know necessarily if that's something that, from my first go around in real estate, that's the magnitude at which I want to involve myself.
And look, assuming that this deal is portrayed accurately, meaning there's no producer interference or there's no sugarcoating of the numbers, this is a property that I would legitimately look into. Granted, I would have to go back to my team and make sure that we do our due diligence before we hand over any type of money, but it would absolutely be a strong consideration. And look, while we're on the subject of honesty right now, between you and me, I would try to figure out how to get Grant Cardone out of this deal, either by paying him out like a finder's fee or some type of commission, or buying him out entirely, because personally I wouldn't trust him to stick around long term in this deal. Juxtapose that to these dudes who are just sitting around. They don't even know what to do for their due diligence process. They don't know if what Grant Cardone is saying is in fact the truth. That's a very scary place to be. And all that boils down to the fact that they don't have experience or the knowledge yet.
Dude, there's not a single person ready to throw down money in this deal. That hasn't happened to me in years.
God, man, I got a PTSD from watching that shit. The barbershop was a big flunk. And like, I was so far
over their heads, and then I went too fast. So here I walk into this barbershop meeting thinking I'm gonna do great things and collect a bunch of money. I walk out empty-handed.
And there's Grant Cardone proving himself. He says it himself. So, what is the purpose of this video? If Robert Kiyosaki wasn't able to make Grant Cardone change, what makes me think that I can make him change? And the truth is, I don't think I can make him change. I don't even think he's gonna watch this video. I don't even think he would even, if he were to watch this video, I don't even think he would care what my opinion is. He is clearly already a successful dude. He doesn't need me. Look, I get it. I'm a small fish. If I could have done it better than him, I would have done so already. And the fact is, I haven't. He's clearly a billionaire. I'm clearly not, but I want to be. In my pursuit of excellence, I've realized the value of learning from others and taking on some challenges. Criticism, it's inevitable, baby. It's a testament of aiming high. As I take my initial steps to my grand goal, I welcome constructive feedback without sugarcoating. Real estate, though deceptively simple in its process, demands true dedication. There are no shortcuts. Attempting to bypass natural progression invites inevitable setbacks. This phenomenon is universal. It's often referred to as karma, or reaping what you sow. Thus, my philosophy is to wholeheartedly embrace the journey. Respect its pace. We all have our unique paths. It's cool. The key is to continually advance, whether it's my aspirations or your aspirations. It doesn't matter. I assure you, when you reflect on them later on down the line, you're going to realize, man, those are some fun times. Enjoy the process. Alrighty, with that said, Alex out. Peace. Catch you next week.